Hi, I'm Susan Brandau, and I am the Director of the Bureau of Recovery Services at the New York State Office of Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Services. The title of my workshop is How to Use Substance Abuse Perception of Care Surveys to Enhance Patient-Centered Care so that you can achieve better engagement and retention outcomes in treatment and/or recovery organizations. We're going to start this workshop by identifying some of the drivers at the federal, state, and local level for the enhancement of patient-centered care. We'll then briefly talk about CSAT's efforts around the modular survey, and then switch to really talking about the process New York State used to build upon the modular survey and to develop a web-based system in Cold Fusion with immediate graphical indicator reports for our entire system to utilize. We'll then do a demonstration of the system so that you can see the survey tool and look at the graphical indicator reports. And then we're going to talk about the nuts and bolts of implementation. How do we implement this process so that you can understand and know your customer? One of the NIATEC's #1 principles. So we'll begin by talking about how do we integrate this process into the existing QI processes that you have at your organization. We'll then take a look at how do you sell this with staff? How do you sell the need for stakeholder feedback loops within your organization and throughout it? We'll then talk about how do you set targets using the system, and how do you actually administer the survey tool with your clients. We'll then move to a discussion of how do you enter the data into the system? And then finally, and more importantly, what do you do with the data? So we'll talk about how can you implement Plan, Do, Study, Act cycles, and this should sound familiar to folks, using the perception of care data. And how do you involve clients on change teams or alumni so that you can impact that data and re-administer the survey and see if you're moving in the right direction with your trends. So if you're an accredited organization that must have stakeholder feedback loops, if you're a non-accredited organization but licensed by your state to provide treatment services, or if you're a recovery organization that wants to know how you're doing with your customers, this workshop will be for you. I hope that we see you in San Diego. Thanks.